Just make sure.
You ready? Good evening, it's April 9th, 2005, 6 p.m. Our meeting tonight for the Board of Zoning Appeals. At first, let Mr. Jacobs do our invocation.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the day, for the beautiful sunshine and the change in the weather. We hope that you will be with us as we carry out the city's business. Use us and do what the citizens of this city want and need. Lead, guide, direct us, and protect us in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Now the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now, roll call. Charles Williams. Kimberly Rutledge. Here. Clayvon Boyd.
Here.
Scotty Jacobs.
Here.
William Humans Jr. With 3 of our members here, we do have quorum to go ahead and continue the meeting. And we have an oath of office for Mr. Clayvon Boyd that we have to do this evening.
Mr. Boyd, welcome to the zoning board. Please rise and raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Cleavon Antonio Boyd,
I, Cleavon Antonio Boyd,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I am duly qualified according to the Constitution of South Carolina
that I am duly qualified according to the Constitution of South Carolina
to exercise the duties of the Loris Board of Zoning Appeals,
to exercise the duties of the Loris Board of Zoning and Appeals,
to which I have been appointed,
to which I have been appointed,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
discharge the duties thereof,
discharge the duties thereof,
and preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of South Carolina
and preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of South Carolina
and of the United States.
and of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Congratulations. All right, and then we have approval of minutes for our December 11th, 2024 meeting. I didn't see any questions or anything in what was provided in our packet.
That one was really short.
Yeah, it was really short, simple. So can I get a motion to approve the minutes for December 11th?
I make such a motion.
That's it.
And then now, we'll
Any
move,
discussion?
no discussion.
Call for a vote.
Oh, I vote for the motion. 2, 3,
All in
all in
favor of the
favor,
motion,
all in
please
favor.
signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? That was a unanimous. Thanks.
No. And now we move to the notice of the hearing for the appeal.
So we just open it.
What you've got, Madam Chairman, on your agenda is a request for a variance from section 3.8 of the City of Loris zoning ordinance to allow
The reduction of the setback, the required.
to allow a yard setback modification for property located at 4508 Holly Street to convert an existing carport into an accessory apartment as defined by the ordinance. Parcel number is shown there on the agenda. Diana Albertson is presenting this to you as the agent. If it pleases the chair, you could call for Ms. Albertson and you could swear her in and let her present the applicant's side of the case.
Is Diana Albertson here?
Yep.
If you'll come in and we'll swear you in for your oath.
We are what we call a quasi judicial board, so we have
Yes.
to tape the meeting and swear people in. If you please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Diana Albertson, do solemnly swear or affirm
Do solemnly swear or affirm
that the testimony I'm about to give
that the testimony I'm about to give
will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Thank you. You can, with the chair's permission, go ahead and present your case.
Okay, I guess the setback is supposed to be 5 feet. So that's 60 inches, and it's actually 43 inches to the building. It's an existing building that's been there for many, many years, prior to my living there. So just wanting to make better use of that space.
In what way?
A small apartment for a friend who's lost her husband in California and can't afford to be there anymore. And the California fires got a little close and it's been very scary for her. So it's gonna make that something special for us.
Can you tell us a little bit about the size of the apartment?
It's 450 square feet total. So,
And what is the total size of your home?
my home,
The square footage of your home?
1,200.
Will this be an apartment that possibly at a later time could be open to the public?
No, I don't think so. Family and friends, if anything, ever changes.
So basically, this is we're doing this to add improvements to your home.
Because it will all be connected. The water will be connected, the electricity will be connected. The only extra thing that we need, just to make it better convenient, is a sewer drop, I think is what they call it. Because it'll be a straight line through the backyard to do that, rather than, I don't know how they could possibly even get to where my sewer drop is for my house. And I've already talked to the people that would do that, and they just said to have it added to the permit, and that would be a good thing to do. Makes sense.
No additional utilities,
Um,
separate utilities.
Oh, will it have its own meter?
No,
You said they were adding
No.
electricity, so they're just gonna.
it's just gonna come over from my box.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have.
So they'll split.
Mhm.
Do we know who owns the property next to this? That's what I thought. Yours is straightforward. I don't have any other questions for you. Kimberly? Move on.
Good.
So I should go back and sit?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I don't, but you did say your home is about 1,200 square feet,
Yes.
and did you submit plans of your build out at all with this appeal, or?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they have all the.
Okay, so you did see that? Okay. So it'll just be, would it be like a studio apartment?
Yeah, kind of like that.
Okay. And you,
Madam Chair, would you like to hear from the staff at this time, or?
Yes.
Okay. Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so y'all actually have my folder at the moment with it.
Yeah, I was trying to, when you're done.
And it's all good. So we do have the variance, so what we actually had the applicant do with it, submitted the permit application, so everything that we would require for it.
Yeah.
Plans, where it's going, what we're doing, everything with that. We went ahead and did the reviews. Everything checked all the boxes for it except for that setback. And it's just that left side. Even for a accessory use or accessory structure. We have, and I've got it, in your handouts, an excerpt from that will tell you,
Yeah, I mean, based on square footage of our home, it checks a lot of boxes.
yes, so. Alright, so from that excerpt, whenever it refers to accessory apartments, that is it's permitted with conditions.
Yeah.
So that's how that table is in your packet as well. It's straight from, all of this was straight from our zoning ordinance. So everything meets, except for, if you look at 7-7.2, accessory buildings and uses location. So she's in the R14 zoning district. Number 2 of that section says that shall not be closer than 5 feet from the property line. She is at roughly 43 inches. Whenever you divide it out, it ends up coming up to around about 3.5 feet. So essentially, the variance is requesting modification. The carport is existing. The carport, best that we could find, predates our zoning ordinance, so we're
That's what I was gonna
we're
ask.
not increasing it. It's just converting the existing. And it's a portion thereof. So based on our plans, everything meets the requirements except for that side setback, and that's the left side setback.
On the left side.
This clean out she spoke of, is that going
The
to be,
sewer drop.
yeah, sewer drop, excuse me. Is that gonna be at any way could possibly impede someone getting back and forth to this apartment?
I have to remember in the sewer drop, that's what it is. So I'm gonna stick under there and just through the back. And I would have to check with Public Works as far as
And the only reason I'm
connections to
saying
the
that,
existing.
the city goes in and puts a sewer drop and we approve a variance and someone,
Now, I will say this, the city only makes the tap connection out at the right of way. We do not do anything through the yard. So it is up to the property
that's
owners.
property owner, yeah.
So that wasn't a necessity that she has to have that suggestion.
It's kind of a request with it, that you can't have sewer without water, is the way that our system works, so it's,
So they have to connect both.
right.
I would think there would need to be something to, in writing. And that's where you come in. I would think that would not hold the city liable in any way that could come back on that sewer drop.
It's, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you can come back up.
It's, so my sewer drop, if you're on Power Street facing my house, my sewer drop is over here in line with where my bathrooms are. And it's right at the edge of the road on Powers, on my side, on my property. So the sewer drop I'm asking for is barely behind my house on the edge of the road of Powers. Because there's just no way to get underneath my house and get the grade that's necessary for it to have a proper drop for the sewer. But we can easily get water, because from the back of my house, I have an existing spigot that we can tap into to get water to the apartment. So we just to make it practical and proper, so it has the proper depth and drop. And, like I said, the guys from the city came out and said that that's totally doable, and they said it would cost probably about $1,000 to do.
Does that address your, question?
Somewhat, my question is, would there be any liability for the city?
No, I don't see
Well,
how there would be.
And not if we're putting it in the right of way and then she's responsible for taking it from the right of way to the apartment.
Right.
I don't see, I don't
It's
see.
right in the same
Okay.
line of where it would be.
I mean, it's a good question, but
Yeah. It's
But
just
I-
like maybe
in this
70
case, I think
feet.
because of the way it's positioned, I think.
Yeah.
You're in good shape.
if it's on, it seems like it's gonna be pretty easy to connect.
So with permits with it, so
Right.
if for some reason, a builder could not get gravity sewer to the location, we make a note on the permit side, and that's something that's more an internal thing, saying that a private grinder, private pump station has to be installed there. All that is owner responsibility. As far as tying in, and again, this kind of falls back on
Public Works.
our side of things, in your apartment. Usually with apartments like that, if it's a duplex or something like that, with it, we require you have to have separate utilities for it. Separate from, so you basically look at it as the principal dwelling, the owner occupied dwelling is unit A, and this is unit B, and they have to have separate utilities with that. And you can't tie in a sewer without having water. We have to have you guys that before as well, like, I'm on well water, but my septic's collapsed, well, we can't meter the sewer without metering the water. But that's more our,
So that would be the case for the water, but if they're tying into her electricity, that wouldn't necessarily be the case for electric. But it would be a separate bill on the
I
water.
do know that Wayne reviewed it.
Okay.
I would have to double check with him as far as, but normally, I think they've done it as, there might be one service, but you have like two sub breakers type thing, one for unit A and unit B. Because the occupant has to have access to the breaker unit. They have to be able to go and flip it off if they need to. And that's falls more on the building side as well.
Yes.
So,
My question was basically for the liability.
That's a good question.
No, not since you had the plans and everything submitted, and I understand now fully about how all of those boxes checked, looking over everything with the pictures.
As long as all that covers the city.
Except for the home and carport was built before this ordinance was put in, so that makes it sweet too. She's about a foot and a half away from meeting what the current ordinance is.
so, I didn't get a chance to make a copy of this. So this is the plans that were submitted for the conversion. So you can kind of take this layout, and look at, that stall that's closest to the left, closest to the property line. That's essentially what it would be converted to, is that single left stall. So essentially, that is our documentation, so that it does check the boxes of its own complete living quarters. And it does not exceed the limit for bedrooms, because I think we capped it 2 bedrooms.
Yeah. It doesn't exceed being more than 50% of the
Correct.
primary dwelling.
I will say,
Do you have
full
any
land
corrections
transition,
on
it's gonna show the square footage slightly different, because there's some total finished areas they're not including. But if you go back and look at the additions, the summary of improvements, then you can see where things were actually added to meet that requirement. That was one of the first things we looked at as well.
Okay.
The total square footage is 450.
For
Yeah,
that
for
one,
the apartment.
for the conversion.
And if her home is 1,200, it's not gonna exceed the more than 50%. Now that, the visual helps me.
Madam Chair, if you have no further questions for Ms. Holmes, you could at this time open the meeting.
Public comments.
Public comments, anybody to speak for or against the people.
I don't have any more questions, do you?
No, I'm good. And just, if there was anybody here,
So at this time, we'll open the floor to public comments. If you would like to come forward, please state your name, address, and then we will swear you in.
My name is Kimberly Ann Emery. I live at 4520 Coffee Street. Directly next to Mrs. Stein. Guy's house.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give this board is the truth?
Yes,
Thank you.
my concern is the line that's the closest to me is I have my dogs. My
Ma'am,
dog. Yes.
Could you go to the podium because the microphone will pick you up better? I'm sorry to interrupt.
It's very soft spoken, so make
Oh,
sure
yeah.
you've got everything.
My concern is my dogs. I put in a fence. I have a fenced yard right directly where she has the carport. Like I said, I've been in my house 33 years. It's been like this for a long time. We had a fence, there was a fence that Mr. AC and Cat Tyler put up. We took down part of it in front of the house. They left the other half in the back and go over there to the before Miss Diane moved in, I had my kennel already set up to the fencing. Actually, I lied. Take it back. She asked me to take down the fence. If we take down the fence, I said, what do you do with the fence? I said, well, I'll take the fence. And then I put up the fence. I bought more fencing and encased my whole yard so that my dogs go. My concern is for you all, if tenant, whoever it may be, call the police saying that my dogs are barking. And why I bring this up to you is during the summertime, my neighbor adjacent to me on the other side is a renter for Mr. Powers' house, old house. The old Mr. Old Powers.
Yes.
There. And then the girlfriend lived there and she passed away. Now they're renting, Vincent's renting it. I'm not sure kids grow up in the house. The tenant called the police 4 times on me for my dogs walking in the yard because he had a 1-year-old. Your police told me on the 3rd time, if they have to come back out here, they're gonna charge me $500 fine. Before you guys changed your, I found out from Ms. Meredith that you guys changed your bylaws.
We do have new.
Okay, but it was prior, I didn't know this because I was speaking to her and she had mentioned it to me. That's besides the point. I don't wanna be held accountable for my dogs barking at the moment. I'm being courteous enough, you guys say, I'm in the city limits, or in case in my yard, the quiet time, 10 o'clock, I actually bring in my dogs at 10 o'clock, so that this Diane doesn't have to, keep it quiet. But during the day, I can't help that there's stray cats or people walking up and down or coming down the other way. She knows this because she's up, Bryson let me know somebody's in her driveway, that's just the way it is. But I don't want to be held accountable whatsoever, grandfather me or whatever, if they call me and give me a ticket for $500, because I'm not, that's my only thing is I've lived here my whole life, just about here, living here. And now we're gonna have this in. I'm not, she's a great person, I'm not saying anything about her, I'm just saying, going forward, you don't know who's in there. If it's a family member, tenant, whatever, I'm just looking out for me, as long as I live in my home, or if my daughter takes over the house, not to be held accountable for you all calling the police on me for my dogs being accountable for barking.
And I'll say this, with our new ordinances and everything like that, there are timeframes where it would be considered, disturbing the peace or something like that, where you would receive a ticket according to my knowledge of what was recently changed. So if you're doing what you know to do as a homeowner, and if you're bringing them in at those times, and they're not coming out before,
Yeah,
you know.
it's at 10 o'clock, it was 1 o'clock in the afternoon, to call the police, I got the police come on my doors because his baby couldn't sleep. And I'm not lying to you, here's the house, here's the side yard, they're here, okay? My dogs are here. And he was actually chained up, and he consistently working because he sees the man that had just kind of moved in sort of full time or whatever. And I'm like, I don't understand. When your police officers that come over with you, I found out for this narrative, had told me, well, why didn't you talk to me? So if you would have came over, maybe we'd have had a conversation. I'm like, well,
Sure.
now we've already called the cops 3 times up.
Yeah.
You know, for what? Because your baby woke up? And then the one police officer said, he pulled up in front of my house by the driveway, and parked there for 20 minutes, he goes, you can stop parking. I said, did he see you? I said, it's a dog, I can't help him if he sees you here and he's barking, rah, 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 rah. She was in my driveway, he barked, and then he stopped once, they settled down or whatever, because he moved on. That is my only problem, my only problem, I don't have problem with anything else besides my hand.
Helping, how long have you been there?
33 years.
Have you received any citations?
No, that's it. Like I said,
You're just concerned about what you were told previously
Yeah,
from the
because
other person.
There's only like 4 of us left that live
Yeah,
in that whole community, everybody else is new.
yeah.
So I haven't had no issues, didn't have any issues with Miss Diane, and I didn't have anybody until the renter called, over here. Even Vincent, he didn't, came to me, the dogs are fine,
Yeah.
protecting,
Yeah.
you have Mark, maybe I've got a neighbor behind us, what's his name, I don't even remember his name. Matthew, he's got 2 dogs in his pocket.
And then, and your dogs probably bark at their dogs.
Yeah, they all.
I mean, that's what they do.
That's what they do, they just talk.
So all of y'all's dogs are what keep mine away.
Well, I don't know where you live, but okay.
So, and my only question to this, based on the information that Ms. Diane Albertson has provided to us, that this is going to be her friend that is residing in the dwelling, and I know that none of us can foresee the future and what another homeowner, should she sell the property in the future, would do with that space. It would probably be sold to some type of mother-in-law unit or something like that, because that's what it sounds to me is what we're setting up, but also to give her friend some separate space. Have you and Diane had any issues with your dogs so far?
No, I've
And
had-
y'all are neighborly and you have conversations? Okay,
Yeah.
and then I would hope that her friend would have the same sort of conversations, but I think that anyone knows that, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, if the dogs see a cat or something like that. And I'm a pet owner too, and I totally get your concern. But I would think that, you would not receive a ticket if it's during those normal hours that dogs can be barking. But at midnight, yes, our current noise ordinance would address that issue, but that's not the information I'm receiving from you, that you are a responsible pet owner and that you don't let your dogs out past a certain time in the evening, and that it's not been a current problem with Ms. Albertson. And I get that the other renter would be there, but if the homeowner, Mr. Powers, has not had an issue, then, no.
Exactly,
Yeah.
that was my intention, because like I said, it was during the daytime, it's Saturday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, all 3 days, so all 3 days, police come to the house. Just saying.
What type of dogs are they?
See, I've got 3 Chihuahuas, I've got, a hunting dog, that's a tree hunting dog, that's Mr. Bryson, then I've got 2,
So he's a hound.
yeah, he's a hound,
Uh.
and labs, I got 2 labs, which is Isabella, who's on the front yard, and always, she's, Miss Molly, she got off again. And then I've got her mom, Molly, with me as well. But they're normally, pretty quiet, except for Bryson, he wants out of his,
Well, that's a hound.
yeah, but he's in a kennel, he's in an 8x10 kennel, and he knows when I get home or my roommate comes home, he wants out, he wants to go run. We don't let him run, and except for he can jump. So like, he'll run around if we're outside, and then if we're not looking, I get a call from Mr. Cox across the street, Miss Beverly, he just took the fence, where are you? And I'm like, okay, that's why we have a cable in the back.
Yeah.
When we go in, put them on the cable, and then we are
Yeah.
not by themselves. And the other ones are fine because they're little, and the two labs are older, you can't see.
Yeah, and the noise level that your animals that you're describing would make the same noise level whether the yard was granted or not, probably to whoever was inside
Yeah, they're,
of the dwelling, so
yeah, they're,
that one, the one,
well, I'm just saying that it's
Yeah.
24 inches already.
Yeah.
And that's
from your
wall-
fence.
That wall is right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So I don't know, I've never seen or talked, we never talked about what's gonna be on that side of the wall. I don't know if it's a bedroom or if it's a kitchen or whatever. I just know that that side of the wall is strictly,
It is the bedroom, if we're looking at it, it is the
and
bedroom.
that's, that's gonna be a little, I'm just
I don't
saying.
think that would be up to the homeowner
Mhm.
to stress that to whoever's there.
Yeah. Well, thank you, I don't have any more questions at this time, Jill.
No, I'm just-
Thank you for, coming and sharing
Thank you
your
for listening,
concerns.
I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah, thank you. Ms. Albertson.
So I just wanted to,
Would you please come to the podium
Yeah. Oh,
and
I'm
speak?
sorry.
So
Yeah, just because
Yeah.
we record the meeting.
And
you're
so,
still under
yeah,
oath.
yeah.
so I just wanted to reassure Kimberly that that's actually the first conversation that my friend Cindy and I had. I said Bryson lives here first.
Yeah.
And Isabel, and she's like, oh, it's fine, and she spent time in my back porch, and she's heard everybody's
Yeah,
dogs
everybody.
barking. Matt's dogs, her dogs, and the other neighbor across Powers has dogs, and she's like, that's just neighborhood noise.
Yeah.
That's
So-
a good noise.
Yeah,
She says, that's just neighborhood, and it makes her feel safe.
yeah,
Because that's one of the reasons she wants to move from where she's in. She's in a lower income area out there, and she says it just doesn't feel safe anymore. So, and it's true. Isabel has a bark when somebody's in my driveway,
Yeah.
or Isabel has a bark if Bryson has escaped.
Yeah, exactly that, that's exactly right.
so it sounds to me like you feel a little safe
I
knowing
do,
their
I
barks.
have a
Yeah.
ring on that side of the house, but the dogs tell me before my ring does that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's all good.
Yeah.
And
I
I'll make
appreciate
sure
it.
it's always all good.
Just making sure, that's all.
Yeah, I know, I totally understand your concerns.
Yeah. Okay.
Mr. Zelinski, is there any other issues you and Meredith both here that have any flags towards the city and any liability at all?
I don't have anything, on behalf of the city, Mr. Jacobs.
That would be any other concerns we would need to discuss regarding.
I think you covered it pretty thoroughly with the presentation and the questions. It would just at this point be a matter of making a motion, yea or nay, and voting it up or down.
Is there any other discussion?
Do we need to have a discussion?
I need a moment, my dog, my German Shepherd just died, so I'll just don't talk.
Oh,
I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay with it.
That's tough.
Just needed a second.
Um,
It's my buddy.
completely understand that.
I mean, it's any consoles. I just had my little mini pass away at 35 years.
Oh, man.
Still
that's
worse.
tough. That's tough.
35, she was 35.
And you probably would have heard him bark from my house, so
Goodness.
I get it.
And when I said that's neighborhood, I'm on the corner of Willow and Powers.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. You're right. We would hear you.
You said your dogs are adding to the.
Yeah, it's not.
In addition to whatever coyotes we've got in
Yeah.
Yeah, they're there.
Award.
Just be glad you don't live in Muslim Fox.
I don't, you, I can't,
Any discussion?
no, the question was just.
Yeah. I mean, the structure was built before the ordinance.
Yes.
And, we know how those changes go, and it's not
In fact, I think our two houses are the first ones built by brothers in the 1930s. I had a picture when I
Oh,
bought the
wow.
house of the two brothers that owned the home first, that built the homes. So that was like one parcel before they cut it in half. And my house was first and then her house
In the
was
thirties.
in the 1930s.
Thought my house was old.
And the renovation that has taken place is tremendous.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so,
Thank
with
you
no
for-
further discussion, I will call for a vote.
Well, you want to call for a motion?
Call for a
Have
motion,
it seconded.
a motion to vote on this variance request.
Second motion.
I gave it, you got it.
Yep.
Madam Chair, your motion was to approve the request.
Yes.
Is there any discussion on the motion? If not, we can call for a vote.
Any discussion? No? All right. I will call for a vote. Mr. Jacobs?
Yes.
Mr. Boyd?
Yes.
The
And
chair
I-
votes.
And I vote yes. And with no other business to discuss, staff report, sorry. We'll move into the staff report.
Oh, okay, I was wondering what that was.
Okay, so in your packets, you do have, go back to training. Because we had newer members, would it be easier for the orientation to do in person as a group? If we can arrange that, I know your schedule is gonna be a little bit more difficult with it. But I think you are working on yours online.
Yeah,
How far are you with that?
I'm about halfway through. Just a little.
I haven't asked as far as
Yeah.
the deadlines for it. What days, will work better for y'all? Because it's 6 hours, the orientation is 6 hours. There is a paper it's the last paper in your packet, it says Municipal Association of South Carolina top. That is who all of our training goes through, is Municipal Association. If you want to register to do online, which is, if you can't, you work Monday through Friday, normal business hours, it's easy to do online. They're broken down into hour increments. You can sit through one session tonight and pick up 2 more on Saturday or whatever with it. If you have any questions of getting or having trouble getting registered for it, let me know. We can sit down and get you through it. Or like I said, we can do in person. So however y'all want to do with it, but the online to me is quicker because you try and get a large group of people, schedules don't necessarily line up.
Yeah.
However y'all want to do with that, I do need those.
We put those on the
So yours is within 364 days of being appointed. For
So
your,
next year.
so by your appointment date, which was April 7th, right?
Monday.
Yes. So by April 7th of next year, you've got to have at least orientation done.
Don't tell them procrastinating that.
Okay, fine. All right.
In person.
You've got to have it done by May 1st.
Fair, thank you. May 1st.
So, and then from there, I mean, we can do annual training. Annual training is only 3 hours.
Yeah.
A lot of times it ends up being, if you do them online, it's like 2 sessions. It's only about an hour, hour and a half with them. You can choose the topics that you want. If you go through either Municipal Association or SC Counties Association has one as well that you can go on and do. Biggest thing is if you complete it, it'll give you a certificate of completion. I need those. for your file.
Yeah.
So, and Kimberly, if you've worked on part of it,
Yeah.
you can just give me the transcript of what you got so far.
Yeah.
So then as you complete them, we can update it.
Yeah.
I did give you an updated, I won't say updated, the submission deadlines that we have approved with the. Because you've got a copy of the bylaws and procedures that was adopted.
Mhm.
Okay, 2, 23.
I think I'm 23.
Next 23. Okay, we probably need to take the county actually.
Oh, really?
Because we updated, remember we updated that and the application forms as well.
Yeah, I was thinking it was 23, but I guess it could have been 24.
So, you've got that, and then you've got the calendar, what we call the deadline submission and meeting schedule, so essentially
We
is,
got that.
yeah. We had new and not knowing what packet was gonna go where, I just
Yeah.
do them that way with it, so if nothing else, you've got another copy. So, other than that, I do not have anything else, are we going to have generally do this? Doing this all, sign off to maybe to, yes, can we do it as just the chair or the,
I think
this
you want
is
all
us.
three of the sign.
okay, so do it like our normal signature layout for minutes,
Yeah, I'll get you.
okay?
We're gonna have a written order prepared for y'all to sign, so it'll be part of the record.
Stick in the file.
Yes, excellent. Okay, I have nothing else, unless you have any questions for me. Anything going on?
I have no questions too.
Okay. All right, I have nothing else.
No other business or discussion, I adjourn the meeting. Motion.
I second the motion.
That's my favorite motion.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
No opposed. Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Good night, thank you.
Thank you.
I tried it.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It's, great.